prepared. But anyways, I wanted to really thank Karen for taking the time to join us. She is the U.S. Executive Director of the International Convocation of Unitarian Universalist Women. And she has served on the ICUU board since June 2018 and was also president from June 2020 to June 2024. So she's very knowledgeable about this organization. Myself, I just joined. I find it an intriguing organization, but I am just learning. Karen is an active member of the North Shore Unitarian Church in Deerfield, Illinois, Deerfield, and volunteers in several organizations advancing gender equity, including the American Association of University Women, the National Organization for Women and National Nurses United. Professionally, she is a registered nurse and has worked with mentally ill patients at the Captain James Lovell Federal Healthcare Facility in Chicago. And I learned in our chat prior to the group convening is that she retired from, I think, that position, but early, a few years ago, and has been active in a number of her current passions. So I'm pleased that Karen joined us for this workshop and providing us an expert overview of the International Convocation of Unitarian Universalist Women. And I say for myself, I'm recently joined. Karen will provide you this overview, but I joined the communications committee. Karen is also a member. And so if you want to participate and become engaged, just think about, well, I could do this. I like this. I could contribute. And so what I do is I write articles on the environment. That's my field. I know that. I could do that. I can contribute that. And of course, I am passionate about women's rights. And when we think about women in the world, violence, equity, opportunities, leadership, these are the things that I believe is important not only to me, but the ICUUW. So I'll turn it over to Karen.
All right. As Gail said, I am the executive director. I am serving as the executive director of ICUUW this year. Our executive director that we had previously retired from that position at the end of 2024. And so I took over as an interim. We're looking to hire somebody to be an executive director. So in case anybody is looking for a job. So yeah. So I am learning so many new things, despite the length of time that I've been involved with ICUUW. And when I was talking to Gail, she suggested we use our website as a guide to go over some of the things that ICUUW does and what our mission is, etc. And so Gail was going to share the screen and show our website. Yeah. We do have a beautiful website with lots of pictures and lots of information.
Yes, and I will start sharing it now, and hopefully I can get it right up for you.
Yeah, let's see how that goes.
And let me know when you see it, because it is on mine.
Yeah, so this picture right here is if any of you have been to Transylvania to any of the Hungarian Unitarian churches, they have this quilt that they made. It's on the altar here, and each triangle represents one of the congregations, and they're all sewn together, and they call it the traveling tablecloth because it stays at one church for a little while and then it goes to the next church and it goes to the next church. And this was in Cluj, which Cluj is a Romanian name for the city. It's also called Kolozsvár, which is Hungarian, because the Unitarians are ethnic Hungarians, and Hungarians are a significant part of the city of Cluj. So it has two names, a Romanian name and a Hungarian name. And yes, I just love this tablecloth. I guess they're usually rotating pictures, but I guess I don't know. I'm not an expert on how this website works, the technology. So,
So
um,
can you control the website or do I have to do that for you?
yeah, you have to scroll.
Okay.
Oh, there. See, now the picture went. This is a picture of some women. Yeah, and it's
Oh, it's
so yeah, there's a lot of different pictures. There's that map that went by, that's an interactive map. And when you click on the yellow countries are the ones that we are active in those countries. So when you see that map on the website, you're able to click on the countries that are highlighted in yellow, and see a little bit about that. And like I said, I was going to say that picture was from our last convocation. That was a bunch of business women from Transylvania speaking about their concerns and struggles and such, how they deal with gender and equity in Transylvania.
and
So,
we have, do you want a particular site?
well, I wanted to show you, see this homepage scrolls all the way down, which a lot of people don't realize. Um, it's scroll, you can scroll and scroll and scroll. There's all these articles, and then there's like congregations that have supported us. There's this little graphic here. Um, This is our vision: to have access to comprehensive and quality health care, including reproductive care, have access to education, have economic power and access to economic opportunities, excuse me.
Oops.
But
Yeah, we're going to keep scrolling. It just
yeah,
popped right back up.
yeah, a lot of this information are safe in their homes and in their communities, are leaders in all aspects of their societies. And then it has our approach. All these little headlines you can read more. There's a lot of information. And then there's the flags where it says translate below. Um, this website is able to be translated into many different languages. So so there's a lot of things on the website. You could spend days reading all these things. And I want to keep this as, I don't want it to be where I'm just talking at you. So if people have questions or comments, raise your hand and let me know, and I will answer whatever questions I can. Our organization was formed in 2009 in Houston. Um, there was a convocation, and women from Transylvania, women from Africa were not able to attend due to visa issues with being able to come over. But women from many of our other member countries attended, and because of the fact that women from Africa were not able to attend, there was some joint projects that were started at that time between the women who had attended and the women in Africa. And so they worked, with between continents to try and help each other to to succeed. And and so one of the things, I've been learning, and of course now it's in the news every day, so people hopefully are learning more about our country's policies, immigration policies, and visa policies, travel policies. They're very biased towards some countries. It's for so many years we tried to help women from Africa come to some of our events, and we were never successful to be able to bring women from Africa to the United States for any events. But we did have two women who came to Transylvania for our convocation a year ago. So we consider that a great victory because it's been a struggle trying to help various women from different parts of the world to be able to travel to our convocations. And so
So
yes,
Karen,
Gail is,
maybe you could, how do people join the ICUUW?
how do people check? We have and now, like I said, there's so many things on here, but get involved is probably under get involved where the membership is. There is a membership here. You can open the membership and it tells you about our tells you a little mini gives you a little mini explanation of the things that we do and our mission. And it has a membership policy. So we have we don't have one level of membership fee. So it's basically what people believe that they can afford. And we have a way to sign up so that you can donate every month if that's how you choose to donate, or to give a one-time donation. And I know one of the questions about membership that Gail had asked me was about, do you have to be a woman to join? You do not have to be a woman. We accept everybody. So anybody can become a member of ICUUW.
And
Gail?
Joyce had a question.
Yes,
Okay.
I do. Karen, I'm just curious, what is it about ICUUW that it's the most important thing? If you weren't a member and wanted to join, what would be the thing that would provide the most incentive for you, or what part of it gives you the most passion?
Well, for me, I think all of us learning from each other, to me, that is what fuels me. Like I said, since I've joined, all the different things I've done, and now as executive director, I'm learning new things all the time about different cultures, about the way different countries relate to each other. We have what's called an echo. We're a cert. My goodness, I'm having trouble getting my words together here. We're an ECOSOC NGO affiliated with United Nations, which ECOSOC stands for Economic and Social Council, and that's something that we had applied for and spent a couple of years working on before we were accepted to the UN under the Economic and Social Council. And so that gives us, more resources for education for all of us to understand, how various countries work together, and just adds to, ways that we can help each other understand what resources are available and what various women around the world can do to lift up their communities and support the women in their individual communities, whether it be in the United States, in Northeast India, in the Philippines, in Transylvania, anywhere where there are, we have members in Australia. So in Australia, there's a small UU community. So all of these different communities around the world learning from each other and supporting each other, whatever ways that we can. I think that is what I, have a passion for. And like I said, I love to learn, and I'm learning so much every day about, how the world works and doesn't work, and what women can do for each other.
Great question. I think that isn't it the UN Council that that you described, does it not also give the ICUW an advisory voice on let's say UN policy development, that you have a voice that they respect, and at least you can contribute to it. Is that true?
Yes, there are, having this ECOSOC status, gives us a lot of, opportunities to become involved. As a very small organization, just our own statements, aren't going to have a lot of impact, but we're able to join caucuses. There's a U.S. Women's Caucus, there's environmental issues caucuses, there's all sorts of collaboration. There's all sorts of caucuses that meet and work together to put out statements and work with the UN. There's a lot of events at the UN in person, and some of our members who live in the New York City
Someone
area
needs
have
to,
been.
I think someone needs to mute. I'm not sure who it is.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, having this.
Do you have information on how the ICUU actually, the history of it, how it was, how did it, it's relatively a new organization, right? In the last
Yeah.
20 years. So what was the catalyst?
Well, I wasn't there in 2009 when it was started, but our founder, Barbara Beach, she had this idea to unite women around the world, and she wanted to have this convocation. And it was the Southwest UU Women's Organization in Texas also was a part of this first convocation. It was held in Houston. And that was pretty much, I think the actual convocation was held before the organization was incorporated. And that was, I guess the afterglow of that event and all the planning and all the work that people put into bringing all these women together from around the world is what led to the formation of the organization.
Yeah, so are there any questions? Because we can go back to the website, or we can continue to have a dialogue with Karen. Questions from anyone yet? No?
If you wanna, yeah, there is some information on the website about our history also.
Okay, let's go
yeah.
back to the website.
Yeah. Like I said, there's
Okay, so let's go back, and where would you like to go now?
thing, so I think maybe we can go to what we do.
Okay.
See what we do. Under advocacy, I think it talks about the United Nations and our relationship with the United Nations. And then CSW at the UN, it says that's the Conference on the Status of Women. That's in March every year. Or Commission, I'm sorry, what did I say? Commission on the Status of Women. And there I am with some of our members. There's Maureen Porter, who's from the US, from Pittsburgh, and and myself. And then the two women on the right side are Zuzana Barta and Adele Naj from Transylvania. And they were able.
Okay. And we have a couple of questions maybe on this topic from Danny and then Nancy. Danny?
Thank you. This isn't so much a question as a comment. As somebody who is relatively new, formally associating with UU and relatively a new member, I was very frustrated to find my local congregation in Hayward running around letting young idiots lead them everywhere instead of taking this kind of action. This is a great relief for me. Anyone who knows anything else that the UUs are doing other than running around after other organizations, please get a hold of me and let me know. And this was wonderful. I'm delighted. I will be following up on this. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
please join, Danny.
I will. I will. All my only
Yeah,
question was, do they accept somebody who identifies as male and can't have any of the treatments? So I've got a very female body and a very male inside, and if that you accept me that way, I'm good.
Nancy has her hand up.
you're mute. Oh,
Yes, can we exit out of the website so we can see each other?
Sure.
oh, yeah, you want to stop sharing? Is that what you want to do?
But no, right now I don't see anybody. I just see the website. I wanted to get out of the website.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well,
Let's stop. We can
we
stop
can
sharing.
There we go. Yeah. I really wasn't aware of this organization, and anyways, I'm very concerned about women's sex-based rights, really in the United States, but across the world. And my understanding is that UUA does not support women's sex-based rights. So I was just wondering, what you have to say about that.
Well, I don't know. I don't really understand what that means that the UUA does not support women's rights.
Um, it's a whole lot of issues, and it's really hard to just explain it in a short amount of time. But one issue would just be men in women's sports, for example, that the UUA would support that, and I don't understand how we as a women's organization can possibly support that.
Okay, well that I can't really address that because yeah, we don't have a formal stance on the issue. It is very much a North American issue more than a worldwide issue, as the UUA is an American organization, and we're international. And I don't know, that statement doesn't ring true with me, so I guess we have different opinions on such things. But you know, like I said, our organization doesn't, we don't have a stance on that. Um, yeah.
Okay.
As I understand it, Karen, from what you said, is that ICUF accepts everyone, so that is.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, and
Yes.
I'm only been with you, this organization, a short time. I don't sense that there is a focus on the controversy of this, and I understand, Nancy, because I'm with you on that. I don't feel it's right. I mean, I think, yes, if a trans person has every right to be a woman, but competing with a woman and having a chromosome of a male, that gets that's not fair. But I have not heard that conversation in ICUUW. Like Karen is saying, it has this international lens, and this conversation on gender issues is, yes, very American, and is also somewhat in the European side as well. There's conversations and issues there. But when you go beyond, when you get a global perspective, it is not the dominant argument or issue for facing women. And I think that is what the ICUUW is focused on.
I want to support what you just said, Gail. Someone living in Mexico, I think one of the biggest issues certainly affecting women in Latin America is the issue of violence on women and
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
so I think that internationally, that is really a major issue affecting women all over the planet.
Yes, and Karen, you probably can address that because I believe that is one of your focus areas in the ICCUW.
Um, yeah, we do, there are, especially Northeast India, our board member Aljiva from Northeast India. She runs programs on domestic violence for the women of the Khasi Hills, and so that is an ongoing passion of hers. I know they do services every year on the UN Day of forgot the name of it, but it brings awareness to domestic violence. And she has white ribbons. They have a white ribbon campaign, and the women and men all wear white ribbons, and the men pledge, to be respectful to women. But yes, on the issue of trans people and LGBTQ people, I mean, all around the world, there's issues with trans people and LGBTQ people, but in most developing countries and other countries, they're not worrying about sports. They're worrying about their livelihood because, there's so much homophobia in a lot of countries. Well, like Kenya. Kenya is one of our members, and they have to worry about staying alive every day. So, they're not busy talking about sports. They're busy, worrying about if somebody's going to hurt them or kill them because of who they are. So yeah, that's why I say it. Taking it to this level, arguing about sports is not something that we're focusing on, because that's and about who is a woman and who's not, and who is a man and who's not. That's not I feel like that's not, yeah, our purview, and we are we are there to support women who need us. And Andrea, I would like to hear from you since you have your hand up.
Yeah.
Well, I was listening to this conversation with interest, and I think if I'm correct, that what you're saying is that in terms of membership, you have men, women, LGB, who, anybody can join, but your focus is on issues that affect women, and by women I mean people, biological women. I mean people who, have babies and have the all of the social issues that come with that biological sex, which actually doesn't really depend on how you necessarily identify, right? I mean, if you have a
Well,
woman in Afghanistan, women aren't, girls aren't allowed to go to school. If a girl said, "Oh, I identify as a boy," I don't think anybody's going to say, "Oh, right, okay, so you can go to school. Yes, that's fine." You know, so these are issues that really focus on biological women, and I think that's what Nancy's trying to say, is that there are issues that affect women with female biology that includes people with other identities, right? It's the biology that counts in this particular case rather than the identity.
Right, right.
If I understand what you're saying, I think that's
think you did. And Karen, did you want to respond?
Well, I really don't like talking about biological women versus what's a woman. And I guess I just have to leave it at that. I mean, if there um, we have we know people who are trans women, and we respect them as women. And to me, it's just, we are who we are. We're women, and we have men as allies in our organization. And yeah, so yeah, um, Danny's saying something about Afghani culture, which, I mean, I don't know about Afghani culture because that's not one of the countries where we have Unitarians or UUs, or that we have any relationship with. But I know that in every country there's different ways that people express themselves, the way they're born versus the way that they express themselves. And different cultures have different names for it. And yeah, like I said, it's not our focus. We are worried about protecting women and, um,
Yes,
okay.
second
Very,
Tuesday. That is the chat, right? Did you
yes.
want to talk to
So
about the
we
chat?
have, yeah, we have a thing, we call it Tuesday gatherings, and, I have, it was started during the pandemic because people were were lonely and stuck at home, and people needed something, to bring them together and give them hope. And so we started actually Jofi, our previous executive director, started our Tuesday gatherings, and we have them, like Sherry said, they start at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time usually. And Sherry wrote, what time zone is 8:30? 8:30 is in the Pacific time zone. So yeah, they're usually 10:30 in my time zone, which is Central Time, and 11:30 Eastern Time. So but usually, so I don't know why Sherry's seeing 8:30, because she's I think in the Midwest. So but usually it's listed on our calendar in Universal Time. But if you have your own Google Calendar and you add it to your Google Calendar, it'll convert the time. And it also does have a time converter tool on the calendar to show you. The calendar's on the website. And Danny is asking, how long do these gatherings last? They usually last just an hour. So it's not a long meeting. We try to keep them short, a reasonable amount of time. So that
And
people
my
don't.
experience with them is that someone puts out a theme like vacation. And then when the group comes together, they go into breakouts and they discuss what it means to them. And it's really interesting when you talk to people from all over the world, because we had a young girl, young woman from, I think she's from somewhere, maybe Kenya, but she wanted to see the ocean. That was her dream vacation. And people asked, well, is it far? And she says, no, it's not far. I just could take the bus and go there. But, I can't, because she was raising a young family. So the concept of vacation, sometimes we're spoiled in the Northwest or the North America. We take vacations glamorous or elaborate. To others, it can be similar. And Danny is asking, well, how do you participate in these conversations? How do you get
Okay,
on the
so
mailing list?
yeah, I know our website is a little complicated to navigate. There's a lot of stuff on there, but I think if you can find it under the various tabs about getting involved, there's a way to get on our mailing list in there where you can sign up. If you cannot find that, you can write to me at admin@icuw.org and ask to be put on our mailing list, and we will let you know. So
And-
yes,
Sorry,
Sherry?
there's Sherry has her hand up, but I didn't mean to interrupt you, Karen. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah, Sherry, did you have more to say, or?
Well, the calendar does show 8:30, so that's
Oh,
why
okay.
so the Pacific time, that's fine. I can figure the rest out, and I'm in two different time zones over the year.
Yeah, you're in Central, and in Canada, what time zone are you in?
That's the Mountain Standard Time, and then we go south to Detroit for the winter.
Oh, Detroit is Eastern, that's right. So you're yeah,
Yes.
you're Eastern, and then you're in Canada, yeah.
But I think starting at 8:30 Pacific means that some of the people across the Atlantic don't have to come in at 1 in the morning.
Well, so yeah, we have been doing these primarily, when we started, it was it was 2 Tuesdays a month in the morning time, US time. And that is evening in Transylvania and Western Europe, so it's convenient for them. But I have been trying to, put some programming in And it's also, I think, convenient for the Kenyans and the Northeast India too, because it's in the evening and it's convenient for them. But I have been trying to put some programs in the evening time US for working people, people that work day shift in the US, and also for people in the East. We have a woman, Peggy, from Japan. She has a fellowship in Japan, and she's an American expat, and she'll join us a lot of times on our Tuesday morning calls, but it's midnight in Japan. So I always say, it's midnight. So, so I try to do some in the evening time so that it's convenient. And also, like I said, we have our one of our board members in Australia, and it's really hard for her too to always get onto our meetings because their time is so different from ours. So yeah, once in a while I try to mix up the times. That's why it's good to get on the mailing list in case I decide to do an evening program one Tuesday or move it to a Thursday or whatever we do. But we generally have them on Tuesday mornings, and we do also, the last time we had a little educational program on, was a project somebody was doing in Africa. So once in a while, we have something like that instead of just a spiritual topic or a chat session. Because most our regular Tuesday meetings generally will have a topic, like what is your favorite book and why? Why does it mean so much to you? And like when we had the book thing, one of our members, who's a minister, she wrote about her favorite book, Charlotte's Web, and how she fell in love with it when she was growing up. And so then we break into breakout groups and we all discuss that, and then we get back together and share what we learned in our breakout groups. But then other times we might have an educational program, and so we won't do the breakout groups, and we'll all stay together in the big room and have a presenter and then do a Q&A with the presenter.
Yeah, and Nancy had a question.
Yes, I see Nancy.
Yes, I was just reading the chat and just saw that the International Council of UUs and Partner Church were dissolved. Do you know any more about that, and how this organization is connected with what's been changing at the UUA as far as like the new Article 2? Can you comment on any of that?
Well, as far as the international work that the UUA does, I know that, yes, they do not support the partnership church program in general, but a lot of the congregations in the United States still keep up relationships with their partner churches. I do not happen to belong to a congregation where we have a partner church, nor do I, or was I. So, I mean, I wasn't even aware of the whole partner church thing until I joined ICUW. And yes, ICUU also is reshaping themselves. So they're not doing a lot of programming. They do have a global ambassador, a woman from Africa, from Kenya, but they're not doing a lot of the work that they used to do. So what the UUA is doing has changed a lot, and so things, yeah, it's very different, and so people are adjusting to the change in culture. I mean, all of our organizations are evolving. ICUW is evolving, but yeah, the UUA seems to have changed their level of engagement in various things. They also changed their level of engagement at the UN. They used to have an office at the UN, and Bruce Knotts, who I don't know if you know Bruce Knotts. Yeah, he worked at the UU at the UN office, and they dissolved that, and now the UUA gave their basically the ability. They gave the UUSC the ability to manage the 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 relationship that the UUA has with with United Nations. So it's a different kind of relationship.
So your group, the ICUUW, is assuming that role then?
Well, we have, yeah, I feel like we have a more grassroots type of engagement, you
Mhm.
know. It gives,
Yes, a little
it
bit
gives,
more informal, but grassroots, bottom
yeah,
up.
yeah, it gives people a chance, people can come to our committee meetings and see what kind of things we're, wanting to get engaged with at the UN.
Yeah, and I really think that's a wonderful model because I'm certainly for bottom up engagement rather than top down. But Nancy had another question, I think.
Yeah, it looks like it, yeah.
Well, just that during COVID, I joined the EUU book group and got to meet people in the EUU, the European UUs.
Oh,
Really, it was
wonderful.
great. It was great. It's amazing what you can do with Zoom. I'd be there at 7 a.m. and they were there at 7 p.m. But anyways, but I met one person who was real involved in the International Council of UUs and explained about how it had been dissolved, and he was devastated. It was something people had worked 20 years on developing this international UU, and all of a sudden it just disappeared. And all of his hard work and many other people, it was just gone. And
Yeah.
so we don't have much of an international presence at the UUA. And it's just, I'm very disappointed. That's partly why I was so excited about UU back in 1994 of just it being an international religion, and it's gone. And so,
Yes, but I want to say, I think this is why it is so important that those of us in NAUA, if you want to have an international presence, please consider the ICUUW, because yes, it is bottom up, it is working at that level, but it gives us that presence. Bruce is a member, I'm a member, others are members, and consider it. NAUA has an international committee. Stephen, who was supposed to be here but has to leave because his wife is going to surgery, has so many pressures. But Stephen chairs our international NAUA committee. I'm on that committee. And we are working very hard to partner with groups that have an international lens. Karen's with ICUUW, her organization, George Williams with the International Free Religious Association, that lens. So it is important for us to take up this lens, if this is of interest to you, a global presence of Unitarianism, liberal religion, whether it's women helping or free religious thought, as with George Williams, and he's in a workshop later in this summit, please consider it, because it is an opportunity. Rather than say, oh, they did this, they did that, this is weak, this is bad, this is an opportunity. Consider it, and please join us. And I wanted to show a video. I don't know if you want to continue a chat or you want to see a video. It is a short video because my background is the environment. And this is a short video on food sustainability program in Kenya. And it shows one of the projects that this organization is working on. So we can share that, or we can continue the chat. And I think someone had a question and I lost them. Where are you? Oh, no, maybe not. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So would you like to see the video? Or would you like to ask more questions?
Yeah, share the video, yes.
Okay, let's see if we
let's see
can
the
get the
video.
video up. All right, where will I find the workshop? Workshops. And this is the food. Oh, I don't know if this is the way to do it, but I'll try. Well, I'm just going to put this, copy it, and put it in my browser, that might be the best way to do it. Let's see. I will try to put it in my browser. Where is that video?
Now you got us all excited and we don't get to see it.
All right, and I think I got it now. Let's see if this worked. I will go back to the sharing and let's see if I can find it. Where did it go? Here we go. Do you have a voice? I'm not sure. Let's see.
Oh, I think, yeah, you
Do you
have
see
to,
it yet?
yeah, but I don't hear the audio. Yeah, I think you have to share the audio too, maybe.
Ah, okay. I know the audio is a little weak, but maybe I will stop share and try that again. Because yeah, there's a couple of little things that you have to do. And we'll see if this works better.
The traditional houses.
There
Yeah,
we go.
this is the county government borehole where they have a borehole here. It is for the community, and it is 2 kilometers away from the farm. The women normally walk 2 kilometers to this place. The county government has put the tanks over there and the solar panels for people who got money to pump the water from here to their farms or their homestead. That is why we want to pump it from this place to the farm. These are the vegetables we had planted 3 weeks ago. They are now ready to be harvested. We normally separate them. We normally uproot the weaker ones and we leave the stronger ones so that they can yield to the seeds later. As you can see, the seeds are already almost making. They're flowering here now. And next we'll be taking the leaves, just the leaves like this, because we could have already done the separation of the weaker ones like this one. Then later we're going to cook. The seeds are made for the next season, for the next planting, so we don't need to be buying more seeds again. So we are done with the
Yani asembuata nas me onyenda na bekango. Siale genkai.
Here are the vegetables that we prepare. We remove the leaves from the stalk, then we wash it, then fry it with onion, cooking oil, and tomatoes. Then we have our delicious meal all together. We are now preparing the vegetables just by boiling them first. Then we squeeze the water. Afterwards, then we fry them with onion and with the onion and tomatoes. These are the tomatoes. Then we have the salt. Then we're gonna cut the onions later. Now we are cooking ugali, which is cornbread with the women. That's how we do it. Then we are gonna cook it with the vegetables that we had already harvested. Yeah, this is our main food in Kenya, at most in East Africa. So for them, they're not used to this because they don't have vegetables to be eating with it. The food is now ready. We are having our vegetables and the ugali made from the corn. Now we are serving the family, our Maasai family. The kids are gonna enjoy it. Yeah, now we have like a balance, almost a balanced diet. We have vitamins, we have energy. So the kids are now having a new meal for today, lunch, and like for the milk and meat.
All right, if we have like a minute or two, I can explain. Yeah, that video, so Ciro, the woman in the video, she is not Maasai, but the women who she's teaching how to cook and farm are Maasai, and they have formed a UU community. And Maasai traditionally lived off of animal agriculture and fed their children, the milk from the animals, the meat. They basically lived off milk and meat and animal products. And that's not sustainable anymore due to um, environmental changes. And so they were interested in exploring other options. And Wilda said, I can help you learn how to grow vegetables and also to cook, because since they're not used to having fruits and vegetables and grains, they don't know how to cook them either. So basically, she's been working with them, and so they've been learning. And the thing is, the men in Kenya own all the land, but the women who farm it, if the women grow these vegetables and things, they tell us the men respect that the vegetables and things belong to the women, and that if the women take some of the vegetables to market and sell them, then that is their money to use on their children or whatever. So this is the way that the women can be empowered to have some control over their families and how their money is being spent, and yeah, so it very much empowers them. And I think Cyril, also in the video, you see Cyril holding the baby, and it's cute because that's not her baby. It's I don't know whose baby it is, but I know Cyril just has one child who's 8 years old. So just the fact that she's trying to teach all these people how to cook, and she's just picking up a baby and helping to take care of the kids while she's there too. It's great. And she's a very active member. She comes to, very many of our meetings, and works very hard with ICUW, and so we are proud to have her as a member.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Absolutely. And how did she find out about ICUUW?
Well, we have a relationship with Kenya, and I don't remember all the details, but she was at our convocation in Transylvania. And so she was one of the 2 Kenyan women that were at our convocation in Transylvania, and she participated in our strategic planning meetings, and she learned a lot about us, and we learned a lot about her. And so we've been building that relationship, and it's really been great. She's been working this farming project for 3 years already. And but just now, we've been trying to incorporate it in our as part of our work, and to help support her. ICUW granted her money for the irrigation project, because even though they've been farming for 3 years, they've been hauling these heavy barrels of water for 2 kilometers. And so they have to go to a well 2 kilometers away and haul these big heavy barrels of water to be able to water things, to be able to bathe, to have drinking water. So yes, this irrigation project is going to be is going to be a great relief to them.
I absolutely love that story because, from an environmental perspective, water in a lot of countries is a woman's responsibility. Access to water for hygiene, for cooking, and access to, and like you said, Karen, most women have in some of these communities have to carry a very heavy load every single day, walk to the wells, which could be a 2-mile walk back. And it's this opportunity to have an improved availability of energy with the solar and water. It seems like a simple sharing of information, but it changes the community, especially the women, because like you said, if they grow excess food, they can sell it. Now they have some money, they can support their families. So it's very enriching, and I really love that story. But we're almost at closing. Does anyone have any comments or something they would like to ask before we close?
Please go to our YouTube channel so you can see all our videos. And I mean, if you explore around our website, you'll see where it says videos, and it'll link you up with the YouTube channel also. But if you go to YouTube and search ICUW, you will find our channel and see what videos that we have.
And if they want to know more about the Tuesday chats, admin at ICU.
ICUW.org. Yeah, it was written.
There you go.
Or
So
you can find it by rooting around on the website, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Karen, for sharing your time and your information. Please consider looking at the site, maybe participating in some of the chats, joining us. Thank you, Danny, for the kisses and love. Much appreciated. Have a good evening.
Clapping hands, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.